4Gs, 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 let's go. 4Gs, 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 look. Full syndication, full elevation, all generations, we already made it. 4Gs, 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 yeah. 4Gs, 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 let's go. 4Gs, 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 look. Full syndication, full elevation, all generations, we already made it. Yeah, we already made it. Yeah, we already made it. Full syndication, full elevation, all generations, we already made it. We got Shot, Dot, Malcolm, Chris the King, plus the Doc. You know that's like 4G. Sports Mind. Real world, real problems, real news, real sports. We gon' let you know right here on 4Gs, 4Gs.
Welcome to another 4G Sports Podcast. Before we get started, subscribe, click the like button so you'll know when we post anything for 4G Sports. Now we got that out the way. Welcome to subscribers and thank you once again for subscribing and tuning in. I am the OG.
I am the King.
Got the Doc.
And today we have our yoga instructor, Debbie's in the building.
Well, thank you guys for having me. First of all, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I get to talk about what I love, yoga. I've been living here in Phoenix for a little over 20 years, and this is where I discovered yoga. I was working in a pretty high stress level job. I was a therapist, mental health professional, and worked with young people that were at risk most of the time. So it was pretty stressful, and I needed something to help me with stress, and so that's when I started practicing yoga and fell in love with it, and now I've been teaching yoga for 17 years. And I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm glad to be here today.
Hey, okay. King.
All right. So, for me, my first question is this. I was at a 7-on-7 football competition today, and I noticed a lot of things that a lot of kids/athletes were not doing. They were not stretching. So my question to you is, Debbie, how long should a kid or athlete or anyone stretch before getting into a athletic activity?
So that, the whole idea of stretching is an interesting thing today. The more we learn about the body, the more people have different opinions on that. So there's not necessarily a set time. What it really comes down to is how you stretch. Some people will tell you not to stretch until after, because then the body is warmed up. But I believe because yoga is one of the great ways to warm up the body and stretch at the same time, is you can do it beforehand to help prevent injury. So what the difference is dynamic stretching versus static stretching, right? So dynamic stretching will be movement while you're doing it, and then you kind of hold it after. Static stretching would be something where you just hold it and you breathe into it. And the reason why they started saying that it was better to stretch after is because what they discovered was it wasn't really a good idea to stretch and hold muscle. And even people's joints, especially as we get older. Kids can get away with a lot because they're young. So they can get away with not stretching, but eventually it'll catch up to them. So what they say to do is a little bit of a warm up, like an aerobic exercise, walk or jog around the track or something, and then do some stretching and maybe more of the dynamic stretching. So instead of just sitting here and holding this one, you might bend and straighten, and then eventually hold it, right? You just want to warm that muscle up before you move into the stretch. And like I said, yoga is really good about that. Any yoga class that you go to, you're going to do warm-ups, and a lot of them have movement to them first, depending on what kind of class you take. So we can do just a really simple movement if you guys want to feel it for our neck first. And what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of movement, and then we'll hold the stretch so you can kind of feel that, okay? So you want to sit up. Is that all right? You ready? You want to sit up nice and tall. Sit up nice and tall. Draw your shoulders back. And then on an exhale, you're going to let your chin just release down towards your chest. And then as you inhale, You're going to let your right ear roll over towards your right shoulder. And then exhale the chin back down. And then inhale, left ear, left shoulder. And then exhale the chin back down. And you're going to keep going from side to side. So this movement is warming up and kind of just loosening up the tissues in the neck, the muscles, right? A little bit of the joints. And this is a really great warm-up. It is one that's used often in the beginning of the way to tune into the breath and the movement. Now, the next time that your right ear is over at your right shoulder, pause there. And now that we did a little bit of movement, we can pause into the stretch, shoulders relaxed back and down. And if it feels good, you can just stay right here if you want to deepen it. If you feel like it's okay for your body, you'll bring your right hand up and you'll just place it on your head. So feel that stretch there along that whole left side of the neck. And you don't want to force this. And then as you exhale, you can release the hand. You can let the chin come down to the chest. And then we're going to inhale, left ear, left shoulder. And same thing. Notice it can be so different from side to side. So maybe staying right here. And then bringing up that left hand right for you. And then releasing the hand, letting the chin come down to the chest. Take a breath there. And then just inhale your head back up.
Okay.
That felt great.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So, for either youngsters getting into it or old heads like us three, what is the best best yoga for beginners?
So, there's a lot of yoga out there. If there's a specific one that's good for beginners, as far as styles go, I don't know if there's really an answer for that. What I would tell you to do though, if you're a beginner, is to decide what type of yoga you want to do. Do you want to do a type of yoga where you're in a hot room, right? Like the heated type of yoga. Do you want to do a yoga where there's a lot of movement? We call it flow or vinyasa yoga. Do you want to do a yoga where you work on more alignment-based things in your body, right? That maybe you're trying to heal your body or keep your body safe and just work that way. So there's a lot of different types of yoga out there. There's even types of yoga that are more about breath and energy, right? So Kundalini yoga. So what I would say is once you decide what you'd like to do, and it depends on where you live too. I know I talk to a lot of people in different parts of the country and there's not necessarily a lot available, so sometimes you have to go with what's there. What I would look for is a beginner's class, an introductory to yoga, a basics class, a level 1. For example, with Ashtanga yoga, which is the vinyasa style yoga, it's a flow yoga, you have to start in what they call their primary series until you get that down, until you learn that before you can move on. So many yoga studios offer beginners classes, basics classes, gentle yoga, where you can kind of go and get a taste of it and see if that's right for you. Because I encourage people to try different types of yoga, especially if you go and have a bad experience and don't like it. Try a different type. Maybe that was too much movement for you, or maybe you're the type of person who wants more movement in your yoga. So I would kind of first decide what you want, what you're looking for out of your yoga practice. Relaxation versus movement, maybe think of it that way. Stretching versus more movement, flexibility versus strength. And then see if there's a beginner's class available, because they'll go over everything that way and it'll be slower paced and they'll break down the poses and it'll be easier for you to get in and out of them. Because that's one of the biggest things I hear from people that just go and take a class, say at the gym, and they don't know what they're doing. It's because they get lost. They don't have an idea of how to get in and out of the poses and that kind of thing. So beginner's class, start there if you can.
Okay.
All
right. So want to do another stretch here, another thing for the body. And so see, we're still kind of warming up a little bit. We're going to do what is called a seated cat-cow. So this is really good for the whole core line of the body, the back, and the spine. So once again, you can just sit up in your chair. If you can be away from the back of your chair a little bit just so you have room to move. And you're going to place your hands on your knees or your thighs. And we're going to inhale and we're going to lengthen up. And then as you exhale, you're going to round your back and let your chin come down. And then now, as you inhale this time, you're going to feel your belly come forward, your heart. See if you can draw your shoulders back a little bit. You can look straight ahead, or if it's okay with your neck, you can start to look up. And then exhale, you're going to round your back. And then inhale, once again, as the belly comes forward, feel your low back go in and up. So now we're creating a curve in the back, kind of a curve in that movement. So then go round on the exhale, and then inhale. Feel the curve back. And just do a few more, just kind of moving with the breath. And then I'm going to add something onto it to deepen the stretch. Just feel that movement. It should feel good in the back and spine. It's actually really good for the whole back, for the spine. Creates a little bit of movement flexibility in our backs, and we need that. And so then the next time that you exhale and round your back here, pause and just feel that stretch. If it's okay for you to deepen it, you're going to interlace your fingers in front of your chest. You're going to press your palms away, and you're going to round even more into your back. And just take a breath there. And then on an inhale, we're going to sit up nice and tall, and we're going to bring the arms all the way up. And we're going to stretch up nice and tall. Feel that length up. And then exhale, just float the arms all the way down. Just relax the arms by your side. All right. That feel okay for everyone?
Yeah.
Hey, that was good.
You guys are going to be pros by the time we're done.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of trying to be a pro,
Yes.
which yoga would you say is the best for losing weight?
So, it's going to depend on how you want to use yoga. Often people, when they're trying to lose weight, they add exercise to their plan, right? So, as I was saying before, those flow types of yoga, the vinyasa type of yoga, like Ashtanga yoga and power yoga, and just even flow classes that you find in a lot of the gyms, those are great if you want to add that kind of cardiovascular. You want to do some movement and to your routine, to your plan. And then other types of yoga classes, for example, some of the ones that I teach, we actually hold the poses longer. So then you're building strength and endurance in your muscles, which also burns calories and helps boost the metabolism. So from a physical standpoint, kind of think about what you want to do and what you like to do as far as movement, and I would pick a class from there. But the reality is yoga helps with weight loss in other ways. It is known to boost the metabolism, but it also, because it helps with stress and helps us improve our sleep. And both of those things are linked to weight gain or the inability to lose weight, right? The stress, and we have a lot of stress in our life, right? So cortisol is released into our body, and so it can fight us in our battle to lose weight or prevent us from not gaining weight. And then the other thing that's affected by stress is often our sleep. A lot of people don't sleep well. We have pretty high rates of insomnia, and they've linked lack of sleep to the inability to lose weight or to gaining weight. So yoga helps with both of those things. And those can be even the more subtle practices of yoga. So if you're not really going to use your yoga for your movement part of your weight loss journey, go and take a gentle yoga class or a restorative yoga class and get the stress benefits of it. Not that the others won't help with that too, but you don't have to make it all about the movement. You could add breath work to it to reduce stress. You could add just meditation. One of my favorite types of meditation is called Yoga Nidra, and that is a sleep-based meditation where the person is laying down while they're doing it. And it's a guided meditation that the teacher brings you through breathing techniques, body awareness techniques, and guiding imagery. And you just have to lay there and receive and follow along. And because it brings you into those deep states of relaxation, it actually stimulates our human growth hormone. And people can come out of that actually hungry because it stimulates the body, it stimulates the metabolism being into that deep relaxed state. So don't discount just even doing yoga for relaxation if you're trying to lose weight. Okay. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to do a little bit of a twist. So just sitting up nice and tall in your chair, we're going to inhale, lengthen up through the spine. And now as you exhale, we're going to go to the right. So you want to imagine this left side of your body just coming around to the right. You can let your left hand cross and hold your right thigh or knee, and your right hand can hold the side of your chair, the back of your chair. Broaden through your shoulders. Just close your eyes here and take a couple of breaths. And just notice. Notice the breath. So twists help us wring the body out. So speaking of stress, they kind of help us wring the body out. They help with digestion because we're twisting the belly. They work the core a little bit. Take 2 more breaths here. And then when you inhale, you're going to twist it back to center. Just take a breath there. So just kind of notice how it feels when you come out and out. We're going to go the other way. So we're going to inhale and lengthen up. And now we're going to have the right side of the body come around to the left. That right hand can cross over. Left hand can be either right beside you or you can hold on to your chair. See if you can broaden your shoulders. You just turn the head as far as it's okay with the neck. You don't want to overturn that. We're going to close the eyes here. And twists usually feel pretty good in the body. So people try to really over effort into them. And just kind of let yourself move in with the breath. So as you inhale, feel length with the spine. And exhale, just move into the twist. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then as you inhale, let yourself twist back to center. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Age-wise, is there a too early of an age or too late of an age to start yoga?
Yeah, it's too late for you, King.
I probably so.
No, I'm going to tell you it's never too late. But it's also, this is the interesting thing. So there are classes that often called mommy and me classes, and they're really for the mom who's just had a baby. As soon as she gets approved to go back to physical activity, she takes her baby and goes to this yoga class, and they bring the baby into the class, do poses with the baby. So the baby gets exposed to yoga at 6 to 8 weeks old. So
Wow.
not too young, if you ask me. That's really, really young. And then there are kids yoga classes, and the studio that I teach at had different age ranges. So they would break them down to the really young ones because their attention span isn't so great, so they're not going to move through yoga poses like adults would. So they build in games and things like that, and they even name the poses a little bit differently for the kids. And it goes all the way up to routine yoga. So there's a wide variety of that available out there for kids. And then even teens can come into adult classes, and even later, probably like 8 to 10-year-olds, if they've been doing yoga before, could come into an adult class. We do have some kids that do that. I have a young man who used to come to one of my classes all the time with his mom, and he loved it. He was really serious, and I think he was only like 9 or 10 years old. So as far as too young, actually not really. And then as far as too old, I actually work with seniors. That's one of the populations I work with. And I have seniors all the way into their 90s that do yoga. And I'm talking down on the ground and do yoga on the ground. And it's pretty amazing. And not all of them do. Some of them just stay in the chair and do chair yoga. But some of them get down on the ground. And many of them didn't start with me until they were in their late 70s, into their 80s. So, yoga has expanded so much that no, you're never too old. It's never too late. I used to teach an intro to yoga class, and I would get a lot of people who just retired from their job, and now they have all this time on their hands, and they would come in and say, okay, now I have time to take care of me. So they weren't starting until their 60s, some of them early 70s. So yeah, it's not too late for you.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So if you are a little bit away from the back of your chair, you can lean back into this as we do it. So we're going to lean back. We're just going to lean back. And if it's okay, you're going to just hug your right knee in. So you control this, right? So you can even hold on to your knee, and you can let that knee be pretty far away, or you can hug it in and get a little bit of a stretch. And you're going to make a few circles with your foot while you're here, just kind of moving into that ankle joint. It's good for us to do that, to keep range of motion in our ankles. So speaking of getting older, right? To help with balance, being on our feet. So just go out and around a few times both ways. Feel that stretch in here. Take another breath. And then on an inhale, you're going to go ahead and you're going to release that side down. And then when you lean back again, you're going to bring your left knee in. So once again, you can hold on underneath. You can hold the front. You control how much you hug it in. It can be really different from side to side in our bodies, especially if you've had any injuries. And then you're going to make a few circles with your foot. You can go out and around. And then go the other way. And go ahead and let that foot come down. Take a breath. And sit up nice and tall.
Right. I had a lot of snap, crackle, popping going on there.
Hey, hey. Don't talk about my cereal.
I'll say something about that. You can, is getting the air out of the joint often, as long as there's no pain with it, usually okay. It's just getting the air out of the joint. So what I would say to you is you might want to do that more often.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So, at work, I know. A lot of us, obviously, other than the fun, like my brothers and I have with this podcast, on the outside, we have a lot of jobs that are stressful for us. So what would you recommend if you're really feeling you had a day or a week where you're stressed and overwhelmed? What are some of those position that really ease you more efficiently?
Okay, so this is a great place for me to talk about the breath, and then I can show you some poses too that are really great for stress. First of all, across the board, yoga is really, really good for stress. And yeah, our lives in today's world, and with how busy we are and what is going on around us, there is a lot of stress for people. So yoga is good for all of it. And people are different. Some people will need to go and they'll need to do a lot of movement to shake off their stress, and other people will need to do more relaxing things to deal with their stress. But this is a great place to talk about the breath, because we haven't done anything with that yet. So when I'm done, we'll do a little bit of deep breathing. But the breath, one of the things that the breath does is it helps us get centered, focused, and get back into our body, get really present into our body. And that's usually what happens when we are stressed. We're getting pulled out of ourselves, right? Or we're in our head, or we're worrying, or we get overwhelmed, or some people even get anxious, right? And we run around through our day. So even getting centered and doing some deep breathing is a great thing to do. It usually helps people across the board. The other thing is forms of meditation. Even if it's just sitting for a minute, closing your eyes and breathing naturally, just letting yourself get back into your body. And so we can do a little bit of breathing here, and then I can show you some poses and talk about different types of yoga that help with stress. All right. So once again, you just want to sit up nice and tall. We're going to do what's called either deep diaphragmatic breathing or yogic breathing. And that is really belly breathing down into the belly. If you ever have the opportunity to watch a baby breathe, a newborn baby coming into this world breathe, we come into this world breathing into our belly as belly breathers. We know how to breathe as babies. Unfortunately, as life goes on, we become more chest breathers. And that's why we experience a lot more anxiety, stress, and overwhelm, because we're breathing up here. So this breathing technique is going to help us breathe down into the belly, and we even get better oxygen exchange. So it helps oxygenate the blood better. So what I often recommend to people is placing hands on belly, or one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. Because as we breathe, the breath is going to come in down into the belly, and we're going to bring it up to the chest. So it's almost like we're filling a container with the breath. So we're going to just breathe naturally first, right? So you can even close your eyes, and I just want you to take a couple of natural breaths and notice your natural breath. We are pretty fortunate that we don't have to pay attention to our breath, right? It just moves on its own. So quite often, people don't even know what their natural breath is like. So just follow the inhale in through the nose, And you don't have to do anything to change it. Just follow it in. Just kind of notice where it goes to in your body. Maybe it is the upper chest. Maybe it's coming down to that mid-chest or ribs. And then as you exhale, just let the breath go. And once again, just follow it for a few rounds, just that natural breath. And even this practice, you can start to feel that the stress level will go down. So we're just starting to center ourselves. And then, beginning with your next inhale, we're going to breathe deep. So we're going to start to bring the breath down. That hand you have at your low belly, bring your awareness there. We're going to bring the breath down into the low belly. And now, like we're filling up a container, we're going to feel the breath come up to the top of the chest. And we want to try to do that without straining too much. And then as you exhale, you're going to let the breath go, and that's out through the nose. And you want to try to complete the exhale all the way to the bottom. That's really good for our nervous system. And then inhale, full belly breath all the way up to the chest. You might even feel your shoulders lift, the collarbones broaden. And then as you exhale, we empty the container, chest back down towards the belly. And we're going to do that a couple more times. Deep full breath in, low belly, all the way up to the chest. And then exhale, empty. We'll do it twice more. Full breath in, low belly. Just notice, you might notice it's getting easier or maybe even a little bit fuller, more expansive. Exhale, release. And one more. Full breath. Just feel that expansiveness in your body. And then exhale all the way to the bottom of that exhale when you're ready, leading that exhale. And then you're just going to let your breath come back to that natural rhythm again. So you can keep your eyes closed for a moment and just notice your natural breath and notice the body. Just notice how you feel. And then after your next exhale, just releasing your hands down, letting your eyes softly open. Whoa, how was that?
That was amazing.
Amazing,
right? And it's really kind of a simple thing, that deep breath. And I used to tell my intro students, if you learn nothing else but to learn how to breathe, you've got this gift, because you can do breathing anywhere. That's one of the reasons why I like to teach this for stress, because you can do it at your job. If you have a moment, take a moment. If you're sitting at a computer, especially if you're sitting at a computer, you should take a break from that and breathe. You can just sit there, close your eyes for a moment if you have that opportunity, or just even keep your eyes open and breathe. In a lunch break, you can do some breathing, just to really let go of that stress. So, and there's other breathing techniques you can do. And like I said, there's lots of meditation techniques out there, and those are all really, really good for stress. As far as yoga poses go, if I have time, I'll show you just a couple, if that's all right. And I'm going to come up from my chair and just move that out of the way for a moment. So for some people, like I said, they'll need to do movement, right? They'll need to move their body a little bit, so they'll need to do some kind of flowing movement, and that helps them let go of their stress. But standing, pardon me?
So while you're doing the positions, Debbie,
Uh-huh.
we're going to go ahead and go on and do our topics, but continue and do the stretching exercises behind us.
Okay, so I'll just do some, and then if you have any questions, just ask.
Sure will.
All right.
Okay.
All right, fellas. With recent events, and thank you, Debbie. I feel relaxed, and I'll remember that breathing and that stretching.
I feel focused.
Yeah.
My ankles don't pop so much no more. All right. With recent events, will the Washington Redskins ever change their name?
No. Why would they? That means you have to change hockey, baseball, college football. If you're going to change theirs, you got to change everyone else's as well. So why? Why change it now? No, I don't think they'll change it.
I kind of agree with you, because it's too much money involved. And I already know the Redskins in particular is a very, It's like the N-word. So I can understand changing that, maybe the chop and some of the symbols, but I don't know about the Black Hawk or the Seminole. I don't know if that's derogatory or not as the Redskins goes, but Redskins, I don't know. That's going to be a battle they're going to have to take to court.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. So we know Daniel Snyder has proven time and time again that he's not going to do it.
Correct.
This would be, I mean, if there's ever a time for him to finally take a true look, because I don't know that he's ever even really taken a true look of consideration. I think it would go a long way for him if he were to get some of the leaders from the Native American community together with him and see if they can figure something out. I don't know. I mean, Redskins obviously is talking directly to the look of someone. I don't know if Seminoles is in the same category because I think that might be more of a tribe. So maybe that is respectful. I don't know. I know they made a move here recently where they removed their former owner's statue from in front of the stadium, George Preston Marshall. They did remove that, and that's because he was one of the last owners to integrate the team. So I think it's a step in the right direction. I don't know that Daniel Snyder will ever change that, though. As you two both touched on, there's a lot of money involved with all that in the first place. I mean, there's marketing. They're a brand as that name. So, that's going to take a lot.
Yeah, I don't see that one ending no time soon.
No, all right. So,
any athlete everyone loved, but you just didn't get why they got that love?
Yeah. All right. So I actually have two.
Okay.
My first one, because it was kind of a toss-up. So my first one's Phil Mickelson. I just kind of never got it. I don't know. Yeah, like maybe it's because any of us could be big and drunk and play golf. I don't know. Like I just never got that. And for me, Yao Ming, I don't know. I never really got into that hype. He was better than some of the guys that came before him that were that tall, like Sean Bradley and George Mirasan. But I don't think he was good enough to get all those all-star bids. And I think he's even in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I just didn't see it with those two.
Well, I'm kind of going to touch on that. I'm going to go with the Jeremy Lin phenomenon.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Hey, he's a point guard. He played. If he don't, he don't. I just don't. Okay. Hey, that's what it is. And it's kind of it's not even a toss-up. Christian Laettner.
Oh, yeah.
One shot, and that was it. That was your basketball career is based off a lucky turnaround shot at the buzzer.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
Give me
it.
anything else. If you have anything else on this guy, please tell me.
That's it.
Okay. I'm done.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to reiterate on that. I'm going to say everybody. I'm not going to say everybody. A lot of athletes that come out of Duke. Christian Laettner.
I was waiting for you to say Duke. Yep.
There's some guys that were trained in Langdon, whatever his name was. Where are they? What did they do when they got to the league? And the other that you guys said also, Sean Bradley. Absolutely just the poster boy of the NBA. He's the poster boy.
For getting dunked on.
Who didn't dunk on him? Who didn't?
Consistently.
I didn't.
We could have. He was just 7 foot, whatever he was, of just nothing.
Yeah, I think he was 7'6".
Oh, terrible.
That's awful. That is awful. All right, guys. What are your thoughts about NASCAR banning the Confederate flag at all events?
It's about time. Long overdue. It's that it took America to go with what they're going through right now to actually realize that it was offensive and has been offensive for years. I would just say it's about time because it's been offensive since I've seen it as a kid. It's been offensive. I'm happy that they're finally realizing and waking up how offensive that it actually is.
I love NASCAR. I got into it not too long ago, but it was always that flag and what it meant of, okay, I'd rather watch it on TV than go. And I actually went to a NASCAR event. Had a great time. But that's, in the back of my mind, you're still going, am I really welcome here? You know what I mean? And now with the flag being gone, I think it's going to allow more minorities to step in and be like, hey, I am a NASCAR fan. Because really, if you like speed, cars going, you have the same car. Why am I faster than you? And you have to figure that out. This is for you. So all car people, this is, now you have something that you can say, hey, I can watch without being offended. That's the way I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree at all. I grew up, kind of around NASCAR and racing. That's, the trophy. Shouts out to my dad, the champion forever and always, and talking to him, he even, as somebody involved with racing and NASCAR his entire life, he was like, yeah, about time, same as all of you. And even aside from NASCAR, I still struggle with trying to figure out why people still want to celebrate second place. I mean, I don't know. Like, is it the participation trophy era still upon us? Like, I don't know. Like, it's offensive, and the cool thing is NASCAR's really led the way with it, and
Yes.
And they just were like, get it out of here. Bubba Watson had his BLM car last weekend. The little disturbing that this weekend at Talladega, somebody decided to go ahead and I don't know if you guys saw this, but they got one of those airplanes to kind of fly the banner behind it, and it was the Confederate flag, and it said defund NASCAR, which is ignorant because they're not government funded. That shows what we're dealing with here. So I'm glad it's happening. It's about time.
Yeah, and speaking of, Denny Hamlin today, even though it was shortened race, well, it didn't get started. He had the Negro Museum on his car, so he's not running his FedEx colors. He's running the Negro Museum black car, everything. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
And shouts out to the one driver that said he was going to quit.
Thank you.
Who? Thank you. Thank you.
What's his name? What was his name?
Now, before we continue, that's a shame when people say who and you have to Google someone's name to see if they was even a professional.
Yeah, well, like Ice Cube would say, bye, Felicia.
Even Google said who.
Okay, here we go. All right, gentlemen. Now this is gonna be interesting. Now it's time for our wait.
Okay.
Your top 3 point guards of all time. Woo. Not shooting guards. Point guards.
All right. So, Magic Johnson. Although, I mean, to me, he was kind of a slash because he literally played every position. But he came in as a point guard. That was his role. He ran the offense. That's what the point guard does. So I go Magic Johnson. I go John Stockton. He was actually one of my favorites. And then the homer in me, Steve Nash, baby.
Not bad. And I'm not going to even say any of those that you just named because of course Magic Johnson would have been on my list.
Yeah.
So let me start with the glove, Gary Payton.
Yeah, great choice.
Tim Hardaway.
Yep.
And let me point guards. You know what? Let me have the young boy out of Memphis, Moret.
Woo. Oh, okay.
I believe that young boy is about to be something special.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you guys stole some of mine, but I'm gonna go ahead and say what I gotta say. What is a point guard? A point guard is the guy that facilitates the floor.
Yes.
He can score. He can drop dimes. He can play defense. He's a floor general. So you have to go with Magic. That's a given. You have to go with Nash. That's a given. None of you guys chose Tony Parker. Tony Parker is mine. Floor general.
Yeah.
Gary Payton is another floor general. But my last one, Isaiah Thomas. True point guard. True point guard.
I give you that, but there's one that I just thought about, and you might look at me crazy. Stephon Marbury.
Oh, hands down. Hands down.
Yeah, I mean, so I like Stephon, obviously as a Suns fan, so I see where you're coming from with that. But so when I think point guard, I think, like we've all said, like facilitator. And to me, he was kind of cut from the Allen Iverson mold, kind of a scorer. Not that he couldn't pass, not that he couldn't facilitate, but he was looking to grab the rock and jam it down your throat, which, I appreciate because I was watching him do that many times with the Suns. But yeah, how about Oscar Robertson though? How about Oscar Robertson? I meant to bring him up too.
Nobody said Chris Paul?
No, yes, that's another great one.
No, OG? What?
You don't like him, Chris Paul, huh?
I know I love Chris Paul, but that NBA blocking the trade for him coming to
man.
You at least have 2 to 3 rings right now.
Yeah.
Right.
But we couldn't have gone wrong with any of these guards that you just said. Really, I mean, honestly, they're all great. Gary Payton is an all-time defensive player on top of being a facilitator. I mean, he wasn't called the glove for nothing.
Right.
He used to take on the Michael Jordan challenge, vocally take on the Michael Jordan challenge. So, yeah, I got a lot of respect for that pick.
Right. And no disrespect to the young Bulls of today, the John Walls, the Kyries, the Damian Lillards. You just have to put a little bit more, in my book, you just got to put a little bit more time in. But no disrespect. You guys are all great in your own right. Only reason I put that young boy on there, let me clarify that. The reason I put that young boy on my list is because I think he's going to be special. I think he's going to take point guard level to another plateau. So that's why I put him in my, I don't know what I'm talking about.
He can really play back. He can hoop. He can really go. He can hoop.
He can give you whatever you want. You want him to pass?
He can rebounds, assists. He can go to the basket, shake and bake. He can do it all, man. He's a stud. He's a stud.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, another great show. Debbie, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch this. I'm gonna watch this back and make sure I do all those stretches she was doing while we were talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's your homework.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
Don't make up stretches, King. Don't make up stretches.
Huh?
Like always, we'd like to thank you for watching and subscribing and supporting us. Debbie, thank you once again. You can contact the show, watch the show on all our platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at 4G Sports, sports ending with the Z. Or you can hit us at our Gmail page, leave a comment, or if you have anything you want to say about the show, leave it there. It's at 4gsports@gmail.com. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud. Once again, tell your sports family and friends to check us out, tune in, and we love you. and we'll leave a contact for anybody that's looking for. I had a brain freeze. If you're looking to get in contact with Debbie for more yoga tips, we will have their contact information in the bio also. But once again, thank you, and also happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.